looks like we got a stream going on right now, and it's this week at Bungie. Alright, so new week of information. If I remember right, it's supposed to be all about weapons. So, this week at Bungie, we got a lot going on. Hello and welcome to another installment of This Week at Bungie, our weekly source of news and chatter from around the studio. Nothing too wild happening this week, right? Just your normal morning announcement of Bungie joins Sony Interactive Entertainment. So yeah, apparently Bungie got bought up by Sony, and from what I was reading on that, it's pretty much a relationship in which Sony's just there to help out Bungie and just get a little bit of profit out of it, but essentially Bungie's still independent in its entirety. Sorry. No, I didn't catch the COVID. Anyways. So, crossplay's still going to be a thing. Everything's going to stick around. We ain't going to feel a damn thing according to what's going on. And apparently 1 million people have pre-ordered The Witch Queen. And I don't blame them. How they've been doing with the story narrative as of late, everything seems to be going by. I gotta say, the story, how they've been working the story now in this past year has been a stark difference compared to what they used to have. And they popped up with the Witch Queen gear trailer, what was it, Monday, Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday. Definitely recommend watching it, but I am going to have so much fun with that. Alright, so apparently our little forge thing is going to be called the Enclave. Oh wait. Okay, so Sav's building an army of hive. These aren't just ordinary hive, mind you. They become the Lucent Brood. How could this happen? What will the Vanguard do as we begin to question the line between light and dark? Alright, so we gotta figure out how this should happen. Probably gonna be showing up here in the next couple of weeks with everything going on. Oh, sorry. So, early in the Witch Queen campaign, we'll be getting access to what's called Deep Sight ability, and introduced to the Enclave, which is our new little forge thing here. And the first things that we're going to be dealing with is going to be making the Glaive. So all of our materials for that first weapon is going to be provided. We're going to be showing the basics and what's going to be involved in making everything else. And this is what really interests me right now. Looks like we can do some serious work on some stuff. So after reaching Enclave, crafting your first Glaive, randomly rolled weapons throughout the game have a chance to drop with a new ability, Deep Sight Resonance. This will be used as we begin to target specific traits to craft. If you find a Deep Sight Resonance legendary auto rifle with Rampage perk, you can complete an objective to gain the extracted essence of Rampage. Then craft weapons with Rampage or another perk to increase damage. So it seems like even though you're going after, say, you get some random weapon with opening shot, you may get opening shot or another accuracy perk, like tap the trigger or something of that nature. Or at least that's what I'm feeling with this right now. So we have ourselves a Guardian here with the little box in red here on the energy weapon. Apparently that's a a weapon with deep resonance or deep sight resonance. And the fact that I see right here, it looks like there's... It could be 6 weapon perks on this weapon here. Or they got something else going on entirely. But essentially it looks like using a weapon possesses... This weapon possesses a resonance detectable by your deep sight ability. Use a weapon comet or complete activities in order to attune this to this resonance and extract materials useful for shaping weapons. It looks like you get a challenge, and they have 2 different little challenge things. And pictured a weapon with no progress. This one's a weapon with full progress. So you can extract the resonant elements from this weapon, which that could be any of these really strange looking little perks they got going on here. I'm not sure what these would be. Alright, like current weapons, every weapon pattern will be compatible with every trait. We'll have a good list of traits to mix and match as you customize a given weapon to desirable specifications. Doesn't stop there though. Through the Enclave, you'll be able to kick things up a notch and enhance your traits to strengthen their flavor. So we might end up with, say, Rampage Spec tier Rampage, or something even further than that, like a Rampage that stacks up to 5. Ooh, that sounds so tasty. Alright, it also looks like we can go in later on and change the archetype of a weapon with our shaped weapons, it looks like. Okay, so you can switch up what barrel, mags, and traits you choose, so you don't feel like you're locked down one path forever. So we can create new weapons and modify existing ones. As Guardians begin to embrace a new system, there will be new legends will rise. Some prefer Hake, some prefer Soros, some prefer blah. Alright. And now we're getting into what's called mementos. All through the majority of crafting experience will be dedicated to mixing, matching, and enhancing traits. There's also an opportunity for a bit of customization. So, one weapon memento will become available for players to earn through Gambit, unlocking a Gambit-themed appearance and tracker. Rank up your weapon to max level, head back to the Enclave, apply your freshly earned memento. Some more will be going on with Trials of Osiris and Grandmaster Nightfalls. So that's going to be nice. And it looks like we're getting exotic crafting too. Ooh. The upcoming Osteo Striga SMG. The 3 exotic glaives can also be crafted through the Enclave once, of course, we figure out how to pattern them first. Legendary weapons are pretty much from the ground up. Exotic weapons are more about nuance. You play around just a little bit with them. Just nudge it a little bit. Alright, so looks like crafting is going to be introducing a new way of investing in a given weapon. Hunting for new favorites, not about looks or about feels. Or it's about feels. Okay. Probably through some changes in weapon perks, archetypes, and Witch Queen. Alright, yeah, there's going to be a lot of people skimming through this stuff. But yeah. Alright. So Proctor's going to come up here next. From Pinnacle to Pursuit Weapons. When Pinnacle weapons were introduced, they were tuned and presented as being best-in-class weapons to act as rewards for players dedicated to a particular activity. They excited and motivated players, but were expensive to build for legendary weapons, and had some undesirable side effects, such as PvP Pinnacle weapons becoming mandatory in PvE. Recluse Mountaintop, definitely. Remember when Recluse was the only weapon you wanted to have? Or becoming incredibly unpleasant to play against, or so strong that no other weapon in its class could compete in PvP. Not forgotten. And they tuned that fucker down. So when we moved away from Pinnacle weapons, we didn't go into much detail. We'd like to take a moment to clarify the move and also introduce the Pursuit weapon for next season. The intent of Season 12 was that Pursuit weapons should be a solid weapon at roughly 70% of a god roll, with perk options that work well in PvP and PvE, which can be reliably attained without a huge grind. They should act as good starter weapons for both PvP and PvE, while leaving space for weapons from Pinnacle activities like Trials, Raids, and Nightfalls to exceed this potential. We generally ship a similar weapon with higher potential in the same season. Salvo basically ignored the guidelines because they really wanted chain reaction on a special weapon, and it was the only one that would get them. So Salvo's like a little bit oopsie. Alright, here's a quick breakdown of how each Pursuit weapon since Season 12 compares to randomly rolled options that are currently in the game. Door's a good sniper rifle, but better sniper rifles shipped alongside her since. 1,000 yards there. Salvo Breach Grenade Launcher is a great room clearing weapon, but doesn't have the utility of blinding grenades or auto-loading holster. So other grenade launchers such as Truth Teller, Ignition Code often takes place in the hardest of content. Null Composure is an excellent fusion rifle, more so with this season. And it brought back Reservoir Burst. But Plug 1 and Glacial Chasm could also get Reservoir Burst, and Cartesian's a better option for DPS now. The Ascendancy Rocket Launcher brought back Explosive Light, but Hothead can also get it, and Hothead can also be a real fun thing. And it looks like this is the Reckless Endangerment Pursuit shotgun. It looks like a snazzy little shotty. So shotguns are probably going to be a thing for this coming season, so everyone get their Fell Winners out. It's flag time. So this weapon's going to come up with a new perk called Steady Hands, which I guess improves handling after getting a kill, and Snapshot. So Steady Hands is going to be... it's essentially quick draw without... I want to guess it's going to be quick draw after you get a kill. Maybe like classic quick draw. That might be more interesting too. Like I say, you have to actually do something to get quick draw rather than just having it outright. I'm talking about classic quick draw, not new style quick draw. Alright, origin traits. Been talking about the difficulty of making different weapons of the same archetype feel unique for years. At this point in the Witch Queen, we're doing something about it. Each weapon that's new or returning in the Witch Queen will have an origin trait determined by its source, and a third trait column, including all new legendary weapons, all returning Trials, Iron Banner, and Nightfall weapons. Origin traits will only appear on new drops of a weapon, that they won't be retroactively added to old drops. These traits vary in effect, but the guideline is that they either have a high uptime, medium power effects, or low uptime and high power. There are 14 origin traits total shipping in the Witch Queen in Season 16, and we expect to ship around 3 new ones each season after season 16, for example, one for season 17, one for raid or dungeon, and one for a seasonal event until we have one for each event. When we refresh old weapons from a given source, for example, existing raid or old pull of a seasonal weapon, we may create a new origin trait at the same time. Some examples: Trials of Osiris, Alacrity, gains increased reload, stability, aim assist, and range when you are the last living fire member team, or last living member of your fire team or running solo. 20% or 20 or plus 20 reload, plus 20 aim or 20 stability, 10 aim assist, 10 range. Solo includes solo lost sectors and rumble, for example. Nightfall strikes, stunning recovery. Stunning a champion partially refills your magazine, triggers health regeneration, and improves recovery for a short duration. Crucible, one quiet moment. Grants increased reload speed when out of combat. Plus 40 reload stat when out of combat. Have dealt receive damage in 4 seconds. And strikes, Vanguard's Vindication. Final blows with this weapon grants small amount of health. I can actually see the Vanguard Vindication weapon trait being useful in Crucible, actually. But 7 health is kind of low. So anytime it makes sense due to resource activity, a weapon will have multiple origin traits selectable. For example, Nightfall weapons can select between Nightfall and Vanguard traits. Trials of Osiris weapons can select between Trials and Crucible traits, and Pursuit weapons can select between Gambit, Vanguard, and Crucible traits, since it can be acquired from all 3. So that's probably what these, when I scroll back here, that's probably what these little perks are on the side. Your third perk would be your trait. Alright. So, one other case, the weapon foundries. Guardian, there's something I want to tell you. What is it? Oh yeah, guns. I was cleaning out that locker back there. Found a couple of things you might be interested in. Exo reaches in a crate next to him and pulls out a glistening Fugue 55 sniper rifle. The stack is shiny new Suros weapons, manufactured for the Red War by the looks of them. Bears down the sights of the rifle. Been years since I held a new Suros. Good balance, solid craftsmanship, and this is damn fun work. Banshee spaces out. Oh, what was I going to tell you? Right, guns. These things were earmarked for Zavala, Drifter, and Shax. Maybe you're lucky they'll let you play with them. There's a lot more where that came from. Banshee gestures a whole stack of crates swimming in cloud dust. Hand cannons, pulse rifles, Amalon, Hake, Nice. You're gonna have a ball. Alright, so in Season 16, we're replacing the old world loot pool with 12 new weapons in the style of the Destiny 2 Year 1 Foundry weapon sets. 3 weapons from the Suros, Amalon, Hake, and Vice Foundries, plus 1 Foundry weapon for each of the Vanguard, Gambit, and Crucible. So, yeah. Wait a second, would that be a trace rifle there? I don't know. Or it could be a pulse rifle, the Amalon right there. I see a pulse rifle. I see a good old Vice there. That's a hockey shotgun if I've ever seen it. Okay, and it looks like each foundry is going to have an origin trait with it as well. Suros will get Suros Synergy. Reloading grants this weapon bonus handling and reduces incoming flinch for a short period of time. Hake's Breach Armaments. This weapon deals increased damage against vehicles, turrets, barricades, and stasis crystals. Turrets include stasis turrets, 50% to 15% damage to vehicles, 30% to structures and turrets. Amalon's getting Amalon Fluid Dynamics. This weapon has increased reload speed and stability for the top half of the magazine. And Vice Stinger gets a chance on damage to partially refill the weapon's magazine. So that sounds like fun. Ooh. Crucible hand cannon looks familiar, but I could be wrong on that. But that Gambit auto rifle, that I might be, I might actually slug out and Gambit for that thing. Okay, Foundry Weapons that drop from a source aside from the world pool can switch between the Foundry trait and that source's trait. This doesn't imply that Foundry Weapons will be common outside the world pool. For example, a roll with a new Gambit Hockey high-impact auto rifle, the Herod C, might look like this. Corkscrew polygonal rifling, armor-piercing rounds, flared magwell, perpetual motion, focus fire, invader tracker, Gambit origin trait, Hockey breach armament, Hockey origin trait, kill tracker, range masterwork. Okay, you know, I brought back all your favorite Foundry weapons, but there will be some more coming out through the year. Alright, so this is where the fun begins. The rest of the section will be more of a patch notes preview, and this is where the juicy ooh, my mouth is watering. I want to know what we got. Okay, lots of bullets, not a lot of pictures. Still have a snack and water handy. Feel free to take a moment and get a refill. Kill trackers were once one reason to masterwork a weapon. But we see now there's no reason to gatekeep these behind masterworking. They'll be present by default on all weapons that shipped in Forsaken and later. Exotic weapons prior to Forsaken will be updated in later release. This means masterworking should no longer be seen as mandatory. We're expecting plus 10 to weapon stat or plus 10 primary stats and add up stuff to only matter for dedicated PvP players. We have no specific plans to change masterworking at this stage, but we'll revisit later. Note we did discuss gating the origin trait behind masterworking, but ultimately this wouldn't have achieved the goal of weapon differentiation for non-masterworked weapons. Following an armor team's footsteps, weapon mods for legendary weapons are now free and instant to insert. Ooh, that's nice. That is nice. I believe that many pain points around special weapons in Crucible are exacerbated with how easy it is to currently acquire special ammo. While we touched on this in the past, we're making further adjustments now. Players not only drop one special ammo on death or equivalent no matter how much they were carrying, as long as they weren't completely empty. The maximum you can pick up off a special brick is 1 for a shotgun, fusion rifle, or sniper rifle, or equivalent for other weapons. Scavenger mods add to this as normal, but they'll be evaluating later on in the future. So scav mods are going to be necessary from here on out. Players quickly found another way to execute the quick swap glitch, so we fixed another animation cancel. Damn it, they're fixing everything. Alright, Season 15 Fusion Rifle Rework had a lot of moving parts. Rapid Fire Precision Adaptive Fusions came out with this different, but all quite strong, but high impact fusions are hurting. Definitely seeing all fusion rifle subfamilies occupy different roles. Want to maintain the large difference in charge time to keep these distinct for now. So we're nudging damage up to make it easier for these to land kills at range in PvP and bumping the PvE damage scaler. So high impact fusion rifles per bolt are going from 62 to 64. So it doesn't seem like a lot, but it should allow for more rolls to come or cross bolt to kill thresholds. Increasing high impact fusion rifle PvE damage bonus from 15% to 20%. So it's getting a 5% bonus or 5% increase of damage in PvE and a little bit extra damage there in PvP to make it so it's 3 of those 4 bolts will, when they hit, they will kill. At least at distance. Like the crowd control capabilities, breach grenade launchers PvE is taken off, but as it stands, there isn't a meaningful trade-off for the added utility of blinding concussion grenades give you. And it's unreasonable to say that a way to annoy other players in PvP can also one-shot them. Reduce blinding and concussion grenade damage by 25%. Rocket launcher subfamilies have lacked meaningful difference for a while now, and their free tracking precisions are flat out better. So we're pushing them further apart by adjusting damage. I take a deeper look in rocket launchers later. So damage adjustments by subfamily. Precision's going to be getting a 5% drop off. High impacts are going to remain the same. Adaptives and aggressives are going to get a 5% increase in damage. We took a big swing at sniper rifle aim assist based on Zoom and Beyond Light, and have seen this play out as revisiting. Having seen this play out, are revisiting the tuning of the zoom-based aim assist scaling. Low zoom snipers got more of an aim assist reduction than they needed, and high zoom snipers are getting some pretty silly headshots right now. So reduced aim assist scaling between low and high zoom sniper rifles. Cone angle scaler increased by 25% on low zoom, reduced by 9% on high zoom. Pulse rifles take slightly too long to kill red bar enemies in PvE. We're buffing their damage versus miners by 10%. But if you want exotic pulse rifles to feel better at this, keep reading. Ooh. Exotic weapons. Exotic primary weapons and trace rifles aren't significantly stronger than legendaries, but they'd be worth bringing into hard PvE content, particularly against miners. Note that this change applies to all exotics that use primary ammo and includes most secondary effects, i.e. perk-triggered explosions. Increased damage versus miners in PvE by 40% for all primary weapons. Yikes. Chaperone is a terror in PvP, particularly with the nerf to pellet shotguns and reduced frequency of grenade and melee abilities. Now, it outperforms some weapons that ought to be good counters for it, for example, sidearms and submachine guns. Reduced passive range buff from 2 meters to 0.5 meters. Duality is in a similar place to Chaperone, but not quite as rangy. On the other hand, its exotic trait shipped with a constraint that would wipe on reload, making it harder to chain. We've seen it actually for a while now. We don't think that limitation needs to be there. So they reduced the passive range buff in slug mode from 1.5 meters or 1.25 meters to 0.5 meters. On Black Wings, damage buff no longer clears on reload. Teraba is extremely strong as it is, but currently demands complete commitment with no weapon switching. This constraint is a bit harsher than it needs to be, so we loosened it without removing it entirely. Also, while the duration extension while damaging players that actually functioned in PvP. It was so subtle that players kept reporting it was bugged, so we bumped them up now. So now reduce the perk progress by half instead of clearing it on weapon stow. Increase Ravenous Beast duration increases for damaging players slightly. Ruinous Effigy has been overdue for a look at, as it's beyond line nerf. Nerf to damage deal while guarding. So we're rolling that back. Now, the other part of the nerf was the airborne standard melee attack and this hasn't been touched. Increase the damage dealt by guardians with the transmutation sphere by 66%. 30% against players. Transmutation sphere multi-kills now count for orb generation armor mods. Previous only kills with the beam would trigger this. Luminous stats just don't compare with other 140 RPM adaptive hand cannons, and its usage reflects that. So they're updating these along with some of the legendary hand cannons that also used to be 150 RPM. Increased range stat from 44 to 59. Increased base stability to 46, from 46 to 56. So they gave it 15 range and 10 stability, and Thorn is left off that whole list because it's evil already. Ager's Scepter's initial implementation used super regeneration scalers, which had a very weird effect in activities that also had scalers, so they rebuilt it to turn off regeneration while active and have implemented slower drain using a different method. Fixed being able to activate or continue using empowered mode while suppressed or stasis encased. Rebuilt the perk used to modify supercharge rate, now freezes super recharge. Deducts stupor directly, fixing several issues with activities that change charge rate and outliers for recharge based on the intellect stat. Super should now drain more slowly while empowered. Dead Man's Tale felt good to use on both mouse and keyboard and controller now. Don't want to go back to feeling unreliable, but it's far too good at spamming hip-fire shots at long range as it stands. So the hip-fire rate's going to a 130 RPM rather than a 150 RPM. Warrant's Driver and Arbalist are getting an increase in flinch. And Forerunners ammo economy was fairly conservative when it shipped in 30th anniversary, but having seen how it's used in PvP, it gained a little bit more ammo per brick. So now Forerunner's going to be getting 3 shots per brick, or instead of getting like 1 per brick, it would get 2 or 3, or 2 to 3, and it can get to 5 with the scavenger mod. Several legendary weapons hit out-of-band stats, either to their benefit, detriment, or a bit of both. When infusion caps were still around, this was okay because they'd cycle out eventually, but now as weapons remain viable in all activities indefinitely, the solution is to adjust outliers and to be in band, as mentioned in the state of the game. The band of legendary 140 RPM hand cannons aim assist end at 84, and this extreme should be for a hand cannon from a pinnacle activity such as a Raider Trials, but when 150s were converted to 140s, many of their stats were either too low or too high, so they're adjusting these stats to be within the standard ranges up or down as follows, an overall buff in most cases. So Dire Promise is getting a range buff, stability buff, name assist nerf. Waking Vigil, same thing. Jack King Queen, same thing. Spare Rations, same thing. Why is that spare rations? And Felwarner's Lie's intrinsic perk made it far too consistent and lethal compared to other similar shotguns. It's had plenty of time to shine, so they're increasing the spread angle on Felwarner's Lie. So the Lie is not going to be as snipey as what it used to be. Most likely Icleos SMG stats were wildly outbanned for an aggressive SMG, but it does suffer from having low zoom compared to other popular options. So they're increasing the zoom a bit, nerfing the range, stability, handling, and aim assist. But that's essentially going to be just you're taking away a little bit of range and adding zoom, which zoom just is actually a range increase. Typically, we don't adjust base stats on what specific weapons at all post-ship, so we don't intend to do this regularly. So now we're getting into some perks. So we want players to choose to build into hipfire more easily, so we're adjusting the hipfire grip perk to support this. Now increase damage fall off start and end distance by 20%, except on shotgun, snipers, and fusion rifles. Adagio often felt like a change of weapon subfamily to the next slowest rate of fire, but worse compared to when comparing damage fall off. So they're increasing the duration of Adagio, increasing damage bonus except on bows and fusion rifles from 25 to 30%, adding 10 range per when it's, I want to assume this is adding 10 range when it's on. And adding a timer next to the buff to determine or be able to tell stuff. Dual loader looks like it's going to be a little bit better now. It's, instead of pretty well nuking your reload speed completely, it's going to be nuking your reload speed mostly. So it's still probably not going to be a viable perk. Danger zone felt pretty risky to use in some cases, resulting in a lot of self-damage. So self-damage scaler for grenade launchers combined with other scalers, it reduces the self-damage from 1.25 times to 0.75 times. And tap the trigger. Look at you, Zur ingredient. So tap the trigger is a meta-breaking perk on a particular fusion rifle. When stacked with other elements of this role, makes fusion rifles way too stable, so much so that they stopped putting it on fusion rifles, then Squidface sold it a few times. Yeah, Zur. With this change, we believe that it's still quite strong without being overpowered. So most likely appear on future fusion rifles that they tried to reduce the stability bonus from 20 or from plus 40 to plus 20, but didn't seem to work in their playtests. So on fusion rifles only, reduce the stability bonus from 40 to 10, change the max recoil angle scale from 0.5 to 0.875, change air angle scale from 0.9 to 0.975. So it's just going to be a little bit of a nerf, not super bad, but it's definitely going to make it so that Voop Nation on a certain fusion rifle is not going to be a thing as much. And everything else that has tap the trigger is not going to be touched at all. Alright. Headseeker didn't work as intended on aggressive burst pulse rifles because buff duration was too short. Sacred Provenance is the only viable pulse rifle that benefits from this in Season 16. Although there is such a pulse in the season, it doesn't roll with Headseeker. I expect to see more in future seasons. So the duration of the buff of Headseeker has been extended from 1 7 seconds to 3 seconds. And Eager Edge, everyone's favorite perk on that bloody sword. Well, swords. It's a lot of fun to use, but it can be used in some mind-blowing, environment-breaking things if used in particular ways while airborne. While the tuning blow isn't meant to remove the fun factor, they have a fresh raid and other fun content coming with the Witch Queen and want to ensure that we change challenge behind our upcoming rewards. Breaking out maps can be fun indeed, but can easily remove the prestige and value of a given item or experience. Reduce the lunge distance while airborne by 25%. And caps maximum airborne velocity to a fairly high value while active. And apparently it looks like they're shelving some perks too. So occasionally shelve perks because they're not working for some reason, too strong, too weak. So like tap the trigger where it was too strong on fusion rifles, they shelved it then. Now Boundless Grief and Celerity, both attempting to inject some uniqueness into Trials of Osiris and Nightfall weapons, are going away. Underdog, going away. Shield Disorient, going away. Air Assault, fuck out of here. And in the near future, Season 17 will have a set of PvP-focused weapon changes, including new ways for players to build for flinch resistance. Sniping's back on the menu, baby. Balance tuning for primary weapons, looking at U-Pulse rifles, lightweights in particular. Are we going to see bad juju meta? Special weapons tuning, snapshot fielding mandatory on sniper rifles and PvP, and other balance changes. They're going to nerf snapshot. I feel they're going to nerf snapshot. They better not. Bring the other perks up to par. Another PvP special weapon ammo economy change if needed. Adjusting how zoom outliers, both low and high, affect the performance of a subset of weapons. I.e., the scope column shouldn't be the most important thing on a weapon. This could take various forms, but the intent is to bring both high and low outliers toward the average to the overall benefit of the weapon archetype. We're also adjusting several much requested exotics along with legendary perks. Alright, so Year of the Tiger. New Lunar New Year items are available this week at Eververse. Preparing to launch a worm. Okay, so it looks like we got some information about pre-launch downtime and preload. So on February 22nd, we'll be getting ready for Witch Queen, of course, right? So 7 o'clock p.m. on the 21st to 9 a.m. on the 22nd, we're going to be down. And this is Pacific Standard Time. So for me, it's plus 3 hours. So 10 p.m. to 12 noon. So 14 hours of downtime plus whatever the fuck happens after everything gets back up online. Because we all know it's always a bumpy start. Everyone should know better that they don't put their vacation days out on the 22nd. You do your vacation days on the 23rd, the day after. That's when they get most of the kinks knocked out real quick. Preload for the Witch Queen is planned to become available on all platforms beginning at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on February 21st. So they're going to shut down for maintenance, allow us to go ahead and pre-download everything for Witch Queen, and have fun with it. Okay, Shattered Realms. With the end of the season approaching, Shattered Realms activity has been updated to daily rotation from a weekly rotation. Players who wish to complete triumphs, seasonal challenges, seals associated with say that 15 times fast. Associated with the Shattered Realms should make sure to do so prior to its removal with launch Witch Queen on the 22nd. GM Nightfall Catch-Up Node clarification. This past week, the next week in Destiny login message incorrectly indicated that the Grandmaster Nightfall Catch-Up Node has become active. The Grandmaster Catch-Up Node has been live and is currently available for players who completed the Conqueror Seal to be able to gild their seal. And here comes Year 4 content vaulting. So with the launch of Witch Queen on the 22nd, certain activities, quests, destinations, and items from Season 12 through 15 and Forsaken will become unavailable for access. They have links to all the stuff that's going to be gone. And we're getting weapon cycling, so Igneous Hammer, Soul's Scar on Charles and Cyrus, gone. Nightfall, The Swarm, Shadow Prize, Uzumi, and Hung Jury, gone. Multi-Mach, Time War Spire, Guiding Sight, Steady Hand, gone. So I'm going to have to go and grind me a Multi-Mach this last week of Destiny. The last week of I already have Time Worn, Guiding Sight. Those things are very good. Last week was the last time we could get Uzumi. I think I have a good Swarm. I could probably get a better one. I know that Palindrome is available this week as well as Swarm. So, probably grinding that this weekend if this ice storm doesn't totally clusterfuck everything. So, players should make sure to claim all engrams and other rewards before the new season begins. Any rewards not claimed from ritual vendors will be removed at the end of the season. While continuing investigations into various known issues, here's a list of the latest issues that were reported to us through the help forum. Weapons do not successfully attach to the Phoenix Protocol when stowed. I've seen that a few times myself. You can probably see it on a few in the Nightfalls and the Gardens or Grasp of Avarice stuff I did yesterday and the day before. Alright, we got Movie of the Week, Chinese New Year. I'm not going to stream that because that's going to get copyright carved in stone. Artist of the Week, Sad Woomy. I really want to press play, but that's probably going to end up getting copyright struck. So, everyone, check that shit out. Art of the Week, Venge, Petra Venge. That's actually pretty damn good. Art of the Week, Witch Queen PvP in a nutshell. Ah, damn it. Throw the worm at Shax. Oh, damn. I gotta see this. Considering it's art, I'm sure that there's not gonna be a damn problem with this. Not upgrades. Here's a worm. That's hilarious. I made it. Once again, Mega Twab has landed. And apparently one of the Germany community volunteers has passed away, so Seraphim Crypto, one of the German volunteers. My condolences to their family. And that's it for this week at Bungie. So, real quick, we'll switch over to okay, why is it showing? Okay, I'm gonna set you down there. Okay, I'm just gonna restart my stream here and hopefully fix that real quick. Alright, be back in a couple minutes.